Dr. Ba.
Hello. Good morning to you. It's noon here. It's 2 p.m. actually. I am Dr. Miray Barsoum from Nile University, and I have our students from Nile University who conducted this research as their graduation project. Let me please jump in right now so we don't waste time. I'm conscious of the time. Let me please introduce Amir, Mansi, and Sohaila Tarek that will be presenting their research about the duality of a gig giant, Uber's journey throughout Egypt, and their exploration of this as a case study for their graduation project. Amir and Sohaila, please start.
Yeah, hi everyone. So let's first start with what is gig economy. So basically, gig economy is it's also known as the sharing or platform economy, and it marked a major shift towards flexible and short-term work. Instead of traditional jobs, people now take on independent project-based gigs. A key player in this shift in Egypt was Uber, which has transformed Uber urban transport and employment globally. Since its launching in 2009, Uber has expanded rapidly, and when it entered Egypt in 2014, Cairo became its fastest growing city in the Europe, Middle East, and Africa region. Uber was the first platform to regulate gig work in Egypt, and it's estimated now that there are over 700,000 Egyptians now drive for the company.
I don't know if you can hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you, sir. So let's lastly the rapid growth that Uber had both globally and in Egypt highlights its major influence on the local economy and the broader impact of the gig work in Egypt. Sohaila, you can. I'm sorry, Sohaila, can you hear us?
Oh, yes, I can hear you. Okay, so our research question and methodology. So our study's objective is to mainly examine the impact of Uber's expansion on Egyptian drivers. So while Uber has revolutionized urban transport and provided flexible income opportunities, we can say that the experience of drivers, how their work affects their income, skills, and job stability remains largely unexplored. The second objective was to understand the factors behind Uber's expansion and the continued dominance on Egypt's ride-hailing sector. And this gap led us to our research question, which is how has Uber's rapid expansion in Egypt influenced drivers and reshaped the ride-hailing market?
Sohaila, can I stop you, please?
Yeah.
Sohaila, can you stop? Amir will continue this part because your connection is really turning off. So can you continue? Amir can continue, please.
Yeah, true.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm sorry. Can you just very rapidly again recap?
So let's just give a quick recap on that.
Yeah.
Basically, our main study's objective is to examine the impact of Uber's expansion on the Egyptian drivers. This is mainly because it was the most unstudied area in the body of research that we looked at, and we wanted to understand how working with Uber affects their income, their skill development, and job stability. And the second objective was to understand basically the factors behind Uber's expansion and continued dominance in Egypt's ride-hailing sector. So for that, the research question was Uber's rapid expansion in Egypt. How has Uber's rapid expansion in Egypt influenced the drivers and reshaped the ride-hailing market? To answer this, we adopted a triangulation research design where we analyzed the existing studies and found that, again, very few ones focused on the driver side of the story. except for just one case, which was conducted in Toronto, Canada. And then we did secondary research to explore the available reports and statistics and the regulatory policies in Egypt, and to understand how they might have impacted the ride-hailing sector between 2014 and 2024. Finally, we worked on sort of our own primary research through qualitative field interviews with over 30 drivers. These conversations provided first-hand insights into their experiences, how Uber has affected their income, career path, and skill development. So during our field investigations and interviews, we knew about the driver's part of the story. Drivers has an income between 20 to 30,000 Egyptian pounds, and in Egypt this is considered a very lucrative number, especially when you consider that the average income in Egypt is below 10,000, which explains why more than a third of the drivers that we interviewed came from skilled backgrounds. For those drivers, transitioning to Uber means higher income, freedom of where, when, and for how long they'd like to work. And since the nature of the job enables drivers to meet people from diverse backgrounds, they usually build connections along the way. Connections that result in new opportunities for them and or their own circles. We have seen examples where drivers return to their main areas of expertise just because of random talks with the riders. Also, a normal job in Egypt requires anywhere between 1 to 3 hours of total daily commute, and the job rarely compensates for that. On the other hand, working with Uber, drivers can get to work in a matter of minutes just when they are out of their homes. Yet, and despite the many benefits of being a driver with Uber, there are clear disadvantages. First, the social stigma in being a driver in Egypt, especially if the person comes from another more sort of regarded field. For example, we interviewed a driver who decided not to tell his kid that he's working for Uber because he strongly believed that they'd feel and look bad at their schools. There is also very limited grasp to the job as a driver. Simply because the only increase in income would come in sort of scarce bonuses, or if the gas prices goes up, and this is usually offset by the gas prices. So basically, when the gas price is up, the drivers the rides cost is up, but he gets to spend more on car maintenance. And lastly, if the driver comes from another field, there is usually limited opportunities to get rehired after spending time in a non-related sort of a less regarded field again. Lastly, any sort of incident or misbehavior by the drivers that goes to the public affects all the drivers and how they are perceived. So
Amir, we
when
have
Uber,
3 minutes.
yeah. Okay, so when Uber entered the Egyptian market in 2014 with aggressive, it entered with aggressive incentives, offering high compensations and bonuses to attract drivers and customers. This strategy helped Uber grow quickly and outpace its competitor, and this especially because Uber is already present in other countries. So whenever it enters a new country, it has the ability and willingness to lose money in certain markets during its penetration phase until it solidifies its stand in the market. Over time, Uber introduced multiple service tiers like UberX, Comfort, and Saver, and Uber Saver. But this didn't reflect better cars or sort of higher rated drivers, because during our interviews, we found that most of the drivers are all of the time qualified for all of these services. So what do these services offer to you? Basically, less waiting time. Uber dominated the Egyptian market by at first acquiring Careem, which was its first major competitor, and pushed out Swivel, one of the local ride-sharing giants. To compete with the Swivel's model, Uber launched Uber Pass, which or Uber Shuttle. It depends where you're living, and this was sort of novel in Egypt. While Swivel used vans, Uber used vans and utilized its core fleet. Now, vans in Egypt has restricted lanes and roads, making it impossible for the vans to be flexible or pick people from different places. While Uber just had the car fleet where you can just book a car with 2 or 3 more customers. Again, then as the company became synonymous with ride-hailing, it faced increased regulatory pressures and public concerns. A major turning point was the tragic case of Habiba El Shama, who had to leap out of a fast-moving car because the driver was under drugs and threatened her, and this ended in her tragic death. This incident sparked public outrage over driver background checks, and even when incidents weren't directly linked to Uber, the brand took the blame simply because taking an Uber had become a generic phrase for any ride-hailing service in Egypt. So let us jump to the recommendations. So for us, based on these findings, we propose some recommendations. First, a unified regulatory framework, meaning a shared regulatory structure across ride-hailing apps. This should include work hour caps and mandatory driver screenings shared between platforms. This would help prevent fatigue and enhance safety for both drivers and passengers, and preserve the driver's expertise over time. Basically, we are expecting a sort of a lower cap for drivers from skilled backgrounds to encourage them into thinking that Uber is only a part-time gig and not make it their full-time job. This measure directly addresses the unsustainable also work conditions revealed in our interviews, because right now there are sort of hour caps, but once the driver hits the limit in Uber, he switches to DD, switches to InDriver, and keep working over the day. Lastly, we are expecting oversight and transparent data sharing between these platforms, so that a driver's misdemeanor in one app is reflected in all of his work as driver. So yeah, I guess this shall help manage cases where drivers operate across multiple apps and reduce risks and avoiding incidents where the blame becomes diffused. It should be, once you do something in a single app, it's reflected in all of the other ones. And yeah, this would be it. And thank you so much.
That's great.
Thank you.